Hi, today we will discuss the topic of L1A visas. L1A is a procedure to send intercompany transferee at a managerial level from one country to the US. Now, what does intercompany means? It means that there has to be two different companies. One company based in the US and the other company based in anywhere else. And the company in the US and the company anywhere else has to have a relationship. They could be a parent-child relationship, sister company relationship, whatever it is, they have to have a qualifying relationship. Now, if say a company, let's just say Disney US. Disney US would be the parent company, but say Disney France would be a sister company or a child company belonging 100% to Disney US. There has to be that belonging, that acquiring relationship. So it doesn't have to be 100%, it can be 51%, but in recent times CIS is very much into if at least 75% ownership between the two companies should be the same. Now, if the ownerships are same, let's say that Disney US wants to bring in a manager of Disney France. That manager had been doing a good deal with increasing sales and overseeing everything, and Disney US thinks that the person will be better off in the US and to drum up the business in the US and rather than being in France. So Disney US can petition the CIS on an L1A visa. L1A visa is restricted to managerial capacity and executive capacity. Executives are usually managers who manage just a function of the company. They are also known as functional managers. CIS has been leery about approving those visas for some time. Other than that, if it is a managerial employee, then you have to prove that 100% of that employee's time is spent in managing. Now, of course, it's not 100%. You can prove 51%, but if you cannot prove that 75% of his time, at least 75% of his time is spent exclusively in managing the affairs of the company, or like if he's doing just day-to-day affairs of the company, like just issuing tickets or whatever it is in our example, then that employee is not a managerial employee. So CIS has four things. Actually, we have four things for an L1A manager. First, parts that we have to prove. The first one is that the person must manage the organization or a department or a subdivision or a function or a component of the organization. So that means that the beneficiary the employee has to manage the whole institution or the function. Now, usually if it is a functional manager, if say it is a marketing manager, then usually the company has to be really big, and the marketing just by managing the marketing aspects, the employee has to spend 100% of his time. If not, then the employee has to be giving strategic directions on when the company has to, about how the company will spend its money, how the company will do marketing, new business development. Basically, it's the big picture kind of a person, not any small person doing one particular job, but it's the big picture job. Number 2 is that this employee has to manage professional employees. And there has been case law that says that the manager has to manage professional employees. Now, what is a professional employee? A professional employee is somebody who has at least a bachelor's degree or equivalent experience. So they can be marketing managers, they can be like the employees under our beneficiary can be marketing managers, sales managers, accountants, account professionals, or any number of professionals, but they should have at least a bachelor's degree. So basically what we are saying is that, let's say if it's a restaurant or a gas station, those are very, very, very hard to get L1A for, because they do not have any professional employees. Say for a restaurant, if say the manager manages the entire restaurant, but people working under him are maybe the cook, who might be professional, who might go for a professional, but the other people, busboys, waiters, dishwashers, they are not professional employees. And therefore, if it's a restaurant, same with gas stations, the counter clerk or the person who does inventory, they may not be professional employees, and that is why L1A on those types of businesses can be denied and is frequently denied. However, for instance, it's a computer consulting company and this person is overseeing all the development and also overseeing managers who manage these computer professionals, then that might qualify. Now, our employee also has to have the authority to hire, fire, and supervise employees, and then they can exercise discretion over day-to-day operations. So discretions means all the activities, they have to be discretionary. They can include decisions and personal decisions like they can do it, but it shouldn't be like they have to put in 2 hours to sell a product or something like that. So they have to be able to exercise discretion. They have to be able to say, okay, you know what, we will do this, let's call a meeting to figure out. It will be up to their discretion how they typically manage their days. And and also when they are being transferred, the position held by this employee in the foreign company has to also be a managerial position. So a manager from a country abroad can send the manager to become a manager for their related company in the US. Now, what do we have to prove besides that this is a job that does all these qualifications? The beneficiary or the employee has to have worked for the company abroad for 1 whole year within the first within the preceding 3 years. So yes, it has to be completely 1 whole year, and that means that the relationship between these companies has to have been there at least for the past year. With the company abroad have to have opened their business at least a year ago, and they can come in to open a new office, but again, to just do it unless it's like a subsidiary of say something that's publicly traded, to do it with a new company is very hard. Now, both these companies also have to prove that they are doing business, i.e., one part of the company cannot say, okay, you know what, we used to be a great company, but we are ceasing our operations now. We will move all our operations to the US. That won't cut it. For the entire duration of the L1, both companies have to be doing business and has to show some kind of a profit, i.e., they have to be viable enough to continue this relationship. Thanks.